Well, welcome back. Put power to you guys. Yeah, I just had a rant. I'm sorry. In my last video, I had a rant. But welcome back. Welcome back to my ramblings. Yeah, essentially it's like hard knocks thought process. I would say this is what I do here. I am able to ramble on about all the things that are bumbling around in my head that I can't say out loud because, well, I'm limited to who I have to talk to. Oh. Sorry, I have to make sure I can get out of here. Okay, I gotta go fast. Oh my God, please Lord, please Lord, please Lord, please Lord. Oh Lord, 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 there's nobody coming. Okay. Oh no. Oh, there's this huge lump here that I'm always, last time I nearly got stuck. And I wasn't videoing and I got stuck. And then I had to go back, forth. And this time I remembered exactly where I have to go. And thank God I got out. Okay. So if you manage to stumble on this tiny little, very tight-knit community of 2 subscribers channel, welcome back. You know, sometimes when you just want to vent or you just want to talk to someone and you just want them to listen because you just kind of want to talk it through and you don't want to go and get a shrink because the shrink is basically part of the system and they are inclined to write everything down. Anything that your little computer here, little tracker jacker, in my case it's an iPhone, didn't collect during your day. The shrink can collect your inner thoughts and write them down. They're little spies for the government. Y'all know this. Y'all know this because you know what? Mental health has gone up exponentially. And now everybody knows what exponential is because, well, we had the Operation C in the last 4 years. So exponential was the word of the year. So exponentially, since there's more shrinks and there's more psychologists, and sorry if this is triggering, I'm so sorry, but this is a thorny thought channel. Just wait. Okay. So, ever since there's been an increase in all of these specialists, there's also an increase in mental health. In fact, there's such an increase that even if you're mentally struggling, now you could just call the maid and clean yourself right up for good. You know, because Canada is cool like that. We believe in putting our people down like we believe putting our dogs and cats down. You know, it started with cats and dogs and eventually migrated to humans, which is really not funny. But anyway, so I'm coming back from my regularly scheduled date with my friend, and I thought to myself, because I have to pick some stuff up and I dropped some stuff off, so we have like a symbiotic relationship I really enjoy, and I come weekly. But today I have to go and search for Herbie, which is the gentleman that is there's 3 places that I go, and that's when we get together, and he is one of the places, and I go and visit him at the home because we no longer can take care of him. He needs to be in a wheelchair. He literally needs to be lifted into the bath. He hasn't had a bath in years because the only thing I could accommodate is sponge baths. So we had 3 PSWs when he lived with us. 3 PSWs would come, they would sponge bath him, shave him, and that was it. But he didn't really have, you know, all of these extra things that he has now. Like, for example, he has exercise, rigid exercise times with, a therapist, like a physiotherapist, I believe it is. And he has baths, which he loves. I don't think he has them more than twice a week, but that is more than he had them for years when he was with us. And I got a voicemail this morning. Oh, and by the way, my voicemail works. So believe it or not, my voicemail works, because in my last rant about the ticket, they said that they left a message, and there was no message, so it's very strange. Anyways, I received a message this morning from last night. He sounded awful. He was wheezing. You could sound that he couldn't breathe very well, and he said that they were the home was taking him to the hospital. I called the home this morning, and the home told me that he's in the hospital and that they're just waiting to call for 10 o'clock, and they were going to call me back. Now, I've been waiting and I haven't got a call back, so I think I'm just going to go to the hospital just to see what was happening. And to be honest, I don't really know exactly how to get to the hospital, but I'm going to find out if I can make it. I'll just meander until I find it. And I'll have you guys to talk to until then. And this brings me to a very important topic. And the topic is old age and what happens in our old age. And I wanted to touch on the fact that we are in a society right now. This is just the way it is. It's just the way it is. There's no two ways about it. We are in a time where we are tossing our old people to the wolves. And there's no other way of describing what's happening, because as far as I'm concerned, this gentleman, okay, in this case, this gentleman has no children. He has no spouse. So ostensibly has no family. He does have a brother, full disclaimer. He has a brother, but his brother sees him once a year. If there is no disease, because if there's disease, then he won't come and see him. But needless to say, this is now the life that he has to lead. He has to lead a life of being in a home, which thank goodness for him that there is such a thing. So for someone like him that doesn't have children, if you couldn't have children and you were, not able to, or you outlived your spouse, okay, this is a last resort. Or if your parent is such that they, can't remember anything, you can't leave them at home, say, for the day. There are programs, I was told, because we didn't need this program, but I was told, and again, I don't know, I don't have any documentation to prove this, but I was told verbally that you can drop your parents off and then you can pick them up at the end of the day. Well, the amount of people that are in these homes, I was absolutely floored by, because I just want to say, Mom, if you're watching, my parents, I don't want my parents to go to a home like that. It's like a holding cell waiting for death. And for people that don't have children, or for people that have to put their parents in there temporarily and then come pick them up, that's understandable. But if you have children, I'm not understanding why we as a society aren't making a priority to put our loved ones, our parents that took care of us, why aren't we taking care of them? Why aren't we making the effort of taking care of our loved ones? And what's sad is, okay, if you absolutely must put your loved one in this home because, for example, Herbie was a larger man. He was probably 6-something, and now he's even gained weight because he's, he doesn't move. He's in a wheelchair now. I can't move him by myself. Me and my husband had to do it together because he requires that much heaving. But if you have to put your parent in this situation because he needs a catheter, I don't know how to change a catheter. I'm not a professional. But if you can have your parent at home, believe me, that is a kinder way for them to go and wait for this thing that we all inevitably are going to be waiting for, because we're all to some degree waiting for death every single day, except some of us are able to live during that time of waiting for death, because all of us are going to end up in the same place, which is smelling the daisies from below. And for me, when I go to these, so we go and visit, this is a house we looked at one point. They did a nice job on the little garage. If we have to, let's just say our parent has completely lost it, or they're aggressive, or they're too big, and you cannot set up a situation where they can go and they can have the PSWs coming and taking care of them and helping you with them. If it's not possible, if it's just not possible, I understand that everybody has a slightly different situation. But if there's any way that you can keep your loved ones at home, your parents, your siblings that are disabled, that should be a priority over vacation, over the comfort of your life. I'm sorry, but your comfort should come secondary. Unfortunately, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. Because you know what? Sorry, but I'm not saying that Herbie was a what is the word? That he was a burden on us. But it was a very taxing time. It wasn't convenient. I wasn't able to go for long periods of something without setting something up. Like, it's almost like when you have a pet, same thing. You need to now set up for that pet. If we can find babysitting things for our pets, and we can take the time to give our pets a nice send-off. I mean, ostensibly a lot of people just go and put their pets to sleep when they're inconvenient or whatever. But let's just say that you would do it for your pet, you should do it for your parent. And now, if you can't, all right, let's just say you can't, you should be going and visiting them regularly. Your responsibility as a child should be to your aged and dying parent that now has lost their freedom, ostensibly because they've lost their mobility or they lost their mind or whatever. Your responsibility as a human child of a parent that is still alive, unless of course there was some sort of abuse where they, did really horrible things to you and you're completely estranged, that's a different situation. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a normal situation where you had good parents. They weren't maybe the best parents, but they were good. They didn't let you die. They fed you. They gave you a home. They gave you what you needed. You went to school. They drove you to whatever. Listen, to raise a child is a lot of work. And to help a parent get to their end game should be our responsibility as a society. This is like as a whole, I'm saying. And I'm not trying to judge you. And I'm not trying, to be an ass. But truly, if we don't start shaping up as a society, it's going to be a problem. Your responsibility to your parent is at the very minimum going and visiting them regularly. You understand? Regularly? Regularly. Not once a year, once a month. Regularly. Make a schedule if you must. If it must be something where you actually, have to write it in your agenda, do it. Do it. And, I think the hospital is right there, but there's no entry here, so I think I'm gonna have to go into the next entry. Yeah, that's the H. I see the H. Never been here before, so let's watch me find it. I'm gonna turn onto this street and I'm gonna meander to see if I can make it. Yeah, so that's what I'm going in blind. I don't know because I haven't been able to get a hold of him. He's not answering the call. He's not texting me. And you got to remember, Herbie, every morning, we've given him a job. Every morning, he has to text us the day, the weather, oh, yeah, I think this is easy enough. I think this is the hospital here in Englehart. Okay. Oh, the emergency. Oh, yep. Oh, look, and I'm going to have to pay another ticket if they don't register my emergency visitor parking. I think this is visitor parking. Family health. It's so cute. It's such a tiny little place. It's like literally looks like a tiny little office. Yeah, and so I'm sorry, but I am absolutely just flabbergasted that people do not feel the obligation to go and visit the people that they have put into a home, which is literally putting them, I don't want to say it's an institution. And if it's an institution, I mean, how different is the school institution from the prison institution? Really, like if you look at the just the buildings, if you look at where they eat, there's like a cafeteria in a school, there's like a cafeteria in jail. And in an old age home, same thing. There's a cafeteria in the old age home. There is just a regimented system because they have so many people to take care of. It's a mill. It's like in and out. And this is not a rant about old age homes, because I am so grateful, because Herbie he did not have the level of care that he has now. He has a higher level of care. But I understand if you can't give the level of care, which was our case, which is many people's case, and there's a lot of people in these homes where I'm like, okay, that I understand why that person is in the home. I understand that. I understand that case. I understand that case. I understand that case. But there's many people in the homes where I'm like, why isn't this person at home living with their children? They have their mind. They have enough mobility where they could stay at home by themselves. And, unless they want to go for the day to a home, and if there is like some sort of program that way, okay, whatever. These are just thoughts, like, I don't know. But my biggest problem is not the homes, and it's not if you put your parent in a home, because I know that maybe that's what it sounded like at first. But my thinking is that if you have to do this final thing, because this is really like the worst case scenario, if you have to do the worst case scenario and you have to put your loved parent or your loved sibling, or because there was a family in the other home, which I love the other home too, there was a family member that had to go in because he was disabled. He was, I don't know if he had autism or what, but he was functional. He was able to go swimming. He was able to go horseback riding. He was able to go to Tim Hortons on his own. He was completely a functional person, except he couldn't really live on his own anymore because he doesn't make really wise decisions. But if he's got someone sort of monitoring him, he's able to do whatever. But his family came regularly. Every week they picked him up, and I think they took him swimming, and they took them horseback riding. So basically, essentially, it was like a daycare for him where he was being well taken care of, just like Herbie's roommate. I can't disclose his name, obviously, because I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want anybody to, him. But he also has a cognitive issue. He's, I think, neurodiverse. And he is there because he is already in his later years and he can't take care of himself the same way. Okay, these are cases I understand. But when people don't come visit these people. Like when the other gentleman from the other, the one that went swimming and the one that was independent and went horseback riding, he had his family come visit him. Now that is a perfect scenario for a loved one. They're taken care of. They have their 3 square meals. They have a warm bed that you know that someone is making sure that they're at home. They're not getting lost. Nobody's going to come in and bother them at home, or they're not going to let a stranger in. Okay, these are all very important things to consider. And or these people that are disabled physically, that they can't walk around, they can't go to the bathroom themselves. Okay, and when people come to visit them, that is the best scenario. It's the best scenario. That is the proper scenario. And that is taking care of a loved one with dignity. I imagine that is the best case scenario that we can come up with. But most of these people, this is my biggest beef. This is the takeaway, and then I'm heading out because I'm at the emergency. I found it. When you deposit your parents or your loved ones into these institutions, they're withering away, because it's almost like a sentence. You're giving them a sentence. And I know that Herbie would be in way worse shape if he didn't have someone to look forward to come visit him. So all that to say is I'm kind of upset. I don't know what I'm going to find at the hospital. I don't know if they're going to let me in. So I will keep you posted, but I'm going to go in right now. And I just wanted to say that if you have loved ones and you've got them in a home, I'm not pointing a finger. I'm just saying, go visit them. Make sure they know that you have not abandoned them, that you still love them, that you still remember about them. And it doesn't matter how busy you are, make the time. When people tell me, oh, I just didn't have the time to call you, oh, I just didn't have time, I was so busy. If I ask them, okay, what were you busy of? Give me the rundown, which is ridiculous. I would never ask that. But it's a matter of priorities. So if you're busy, make it a priority to visit someone you love in a home, because it is not a joyous place to be without having something to look forward to. So I'm going to go and find my loved one in the hospital, because I've got to go find him, because he hasn't answered my text. He always answers my text. He always texts me every morning. He hasn't texted me this morning. He hasn't answered my call. He hasn't answered my text. And the home hasn't called me and told me what's going on. So I've got to go find him. I've got to make sure he's okay. And I will see you guys in the next video. So thanks again if you're here at the end. Sorry you don't win a prize, but I want to thank you for listening to my meandering, thorny thoughts. And maybe if you have anything to comment, and maybe share stories, or let me know what your take on is, how, when you go to visit these homes, what your take is on these things. And these people that work there really do their best. So that's all I can say. Like I always fall in love with every care home people, because they're special people. Anyway, bye. Mwah.